Let me tell you something right now. Time is the most valuable thing you've got. Not money, not cars, not houses. Because here's the truth. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose a car and buy another. But when you waste time, that's gone forever. Ain't no refund, ain't no restart button. See, a lot of people sit around waiting for the right moment, waiting until Monday, waiting until New Year's, waiting until they feel ready. Let me tell you, time don't wait for you. While you're waiting, somebody else is out there grinding, learning, hustling, getting ahead. Time is more valuable than money because money is something you can always make again. But time is something you can never get back once it's gone. You can lose a job, start a business, fail, and still make money again. But you can't go back to yesterday. You can't buy back an hour you wasted, no matter how rich you become. That's why people who truly understand success guard their time more than they guard their money. Money comes and goes, but time only goes. Every second that passes is a piece of your life you'll never see again. Think about it this way. If someone steals $100 from you, you will feel the loss, you'll get upset, but eventually you can earn it back. But if someone wastes an hour of your life with negativity, distractions, or meaningless activities, you can never replace that hour. It's gone for good. And most people don't realize that time is life. When you waste time, you are literally wasting your life. That's why the most successful people treat their minutes like gold. They invest them in things that bring value, building skills, strengthening relationships, working toward dreams, or simply resting in a way that recharges their energy. Money is limited by opportunity, but time is limited by nature. We all get 24 hours in a day, no matter how rich, poor, smart, or talented we are. The difference between people who achieve great things and people who stay stuck isn't how much money they have, but how they use those same 24 hours. Some people choose to use their hours learning, growing, and building, while others waste them on complaining, procrastinating, or entertaining themselves endlessly. At the end of the day, your bank account can rise and fall, but the time you spend is already spent forever. Another reason time is more valuable than money is that money can't buy happiness or fulfillment on its own, but how you spend your time directly shapes your happiness. If you spend your time doing work you hate, staying around people who drain your energy, or scrolling endlessly through things that add nothing to your life, you will feel empty. But if you spend your time building meaningful relationships, pursuing passions, serving others, or chasing your goals, you'll find real satisfaction. Money can make life comfortable, but time used well makes life meaningful. There are countless wealthy people who would give away every dollar they own just to have more time. Think about someone on their deathbed. At that moment, all the money in the world means nothing compared to one more day, one more hour, or one more chance to do the things they wish they hadn't put off. That alone proves time is the most precious resource you have. You can waste money and still survive, but if you waste time, you're shortening the chance you have to live your dreams. When you look at your life, realize that time is the currency you're always spending, whether you like it or not. Every day you're making transactions with your life. The question is, what are you buying with it? Are you investing in your future, your growth, your health, and your family? Or are you trading it for cheap entertainment, excuses, and temporary comfort? The choice is yours, but the truth remains, money can be replaced, time cannot. And if you want to live a life of success, joy, and purpose, you must start valuing your time more than your money. Every day you wake up, you're handed the same paycheck as everyone else, 24 hours. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, young or old, educated or uneducated, you still get the same 24 hours. That's the one currency life gives us equally. The difference lies in how you spend it. Some people use their daily paycheck wisely and invest it into things that build their future, while others waste it on distractions and have nothing to show at the end of the day. Imagine if a bank deposited $24,000 into your account every morning, but by midnight, whatever you didn't use would vanish. You'd think very carefully about how to spend it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't let anyone just take your money or waste it on nonsense. You'd use it for things that matter. Your family, your dreams, your future security. Well, that's exactly how time works. Every morning, life deposits 24 hours into your account. And at the end of the day, whatever you didn't use is gone. You don't get to save it. You don't get to roll it over. It just disappears. But here's the problem. People guard their money like it's sacred, yet they throw away their hours like they're worthless. They binge watch shows they don't even enjoy, spend hours scrolling through other people's lives, or sit around complaining about what they don't have. And then they wonder why they're not moving forward. The truth is, if you waste your daily paycheck of time, you're robbing your future self of opportunities, growth, and success. Now, think about how the most successful people use their daily paycheck. They don't have extra hours in their day. They don't have secret access to more time. They just spend their 24 hours differently. They invested in learning, in creating, in building businesses, in practicing skills, in staying healthy, and in connecting with the right people. Every hour they use is like planting a seed, and eventually those seeds grow into success. On the other hand, many people cash their daily paycheck on temporary pleasures and short-term comforts. They spend their hours chasing entertainment, gossip, or laziness. At the end of the day, they've used the same paycheck, but instead of planting seeds for their future, they've bought things that disappear instantly and leave nothing behind. That's why after years, they feel stuck in the same place. Your 24 hours are an investment. You can spend them to build something lasting, or you can waste them and regret it later. That's the difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who only talk about them. The achievers treat their time like money in the bank. They don't hand it out freely to everyone. They budget it, they plan it, they make sure it's working for them. The people who stay stuck, they give their hours away to anyone who asks for them. They spend recklessly. And when midnight comes, their paycheck is gone with nothing to show. And let's not forget, the daily paycheck of 24 hours isn't guaranteed. Some people didn't wake up today. Some people had their time account closed forever. If you opened your eyes this morning, that means life deposited another 24 hours for you. That's a blessing, a second chance, and you get to decide what to do with it. Will you spend it building something that matters, or will you waste it like it's nothing? At the end of the day, life doesn't ask you how much money you made. It asks you what you did with your time, because time is the real paycheck, and how you spend those 24 hours determines the life you live tomorrow. Every day you're given a fresh deposit, and once it's gone, it's gone. The choice is yours. Spend it wisely or waste it carelessly. Either way, the clock keeps ticking. Waiting for the right moment is one of the biggest traps people fall into. It sounds reasonable at first. You want everything to line up. You want to feel ready. You want the conditions to be perfect before you take action. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. Life is never going to hand you the ideal timing wrapped in a bow. If you're waiting for the stars to align, you'll spend your whole life waiting. Think about how often people say, I'll start on Monday. I'll begin in the new year. I'll launch my idea when I have more money, more time, more support. What usually happens? Monday comes and goes, January passes, and the opportunity slips away. The right moment becomes a moving target that never actually arrives. You end up putting your dreams on hold for years, sometimes even for a lifetime, just because you told yourself it wasn't the right time yet. The danger in waiting for the right moment is that it gives you a false sense of control. It makes you feel like you're being smart and patient, but in reality, it's just procrastination dressed up as wisdom. You're convincing yourself that tomorrow will be better than today, when in fact tomorrow is not promised. Every day you wait is a day wasted, a day you could have spent learning, growing, and moving closer to your goals. If you look at people who've achieved success, very few of them started under perfect circumstances. Most of them began when they didn't feel ready, when they didn't have enough money, when they didn't have enough support. They started scared, they started small, and they figured it out along the way. That's the secret. Progress comes from action, not from waiting. Perfection is an illusion. If you keep waiting until everything is flawless, you'll never move. There will always be challenges, always be risks, always be reasons why now isn't good enough. But guess what? Those same challenges will exist next week, next month, and next year. The difference is if you start today, you'll be stronger and wiser when those challenges appear. If you keep waiting, you'll just be standing in the same place, watching time slip through your fingers. A lot of people waste their entire lives waiting. They wait until the kids are grown, until they get the promotion, until they retire, until they feel ready. And when they finally look back, they realize the right moment never came. The opportunities passed by, the years flew away, and they missed out on the life they could have lived. That's why waiting is a trap. It tricks you into thinking you have more time than you do. The truth is the right moment is never found. It's created. You make the moment right by deciding to act. You may not feel ready, but readiness comes through doing. You may not have all the answers, but the answers reveal themselves when you take the first step. Action brings clarity. Waiting brings regret. Every single day you delay is a day closer to the end of your time on earth. Nobody gets to escape the clock. So the question is, do you want to keep waiting for perfect timing? Or do you want to start now and figure it out along the way? Because here's the reality. Imperfect action will always beat perfect intentions. Starting messy will always beat waiting forever. If you've got a dream, a plan, or a desire burning in your heart, don't let the trap of the right moment hold you hostage. There will never be a perfect day, but today can be the day you choose to begin. And when you look back years from now, you'll be thankful you didn't wait. You'll be proud you had the courage to start. Discipline separates success from failure because talent, luck, and opportunity mean very little without the ability to stay consistent and focused. Discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Everybody has goals. Everybody has ideas. Everybody talks about what they want to achieve, but most people never get there. Not because they aren't smart enough or gifted enough, but because they lack the discipline to keep going when it gets hard, boring, or uncomfortable. Success requires doing things you don't always feel like doing. Discipline is waking up early when the bed feels comfortable. Discipline is saying no to distractions when your friends are calling you out to waste time. Discipline is putting in the work every single day, even when nobody is clapping for you, even when you don't see results right away. That's where the line is drawn between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. Without discipline, talent becomes wasted potential. How many times have you seen someone who was incredibly talented but never made it anywhere because they couldn't stay consistent? On the other hand, how many people do you know who weren't the most talented, but they showed up every day, kept working, and eventually became successful? That's the power of discipline. It beats talent when talent refuses to work. Discipline also protects you from your own emotions. Let's be real. Feelings are temporary. You might feel motivated today, but tomorrow you'll feel tired. You might feel excited at the beginning of a project, but later you'll feel bored. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll never finish anything. Discipline is the commitment to keep going regardless of how you feel. It's the ability to control your actions even when your emotions try to convince you otherwise. Think of success like building a wall. Every day, discipline helps you lay down one brick. Some days it's easy. Some days it's hard. But if you keep placing bricks, eventually you'll have a wall. Without discipline, you only put down a brick when you're in the mood, which means your wall never gets finished. And years later, you'll look back at a half-built life wondering why things didn't work out for you. Another truth about discipline is that it creates freedom. People think discipline is about restriction, but it's the opposite. When you discipline yourself to work hard, to save money, to take care of your health, to grow your skills, you give your future self more freedom. The disciplined person gets to enjoy the rewards of their consistency. The undisciplined person becomes a prisoner of their own bad habits, living with regret, debt, wasted time, and lost opportunities. Discipline is also contagious. When you live with discipline, people notice. They respect you more, they trust you more, and they are inspired by you. On the flip side, when you lack discipline, People stop taking you seriously. They see you making promises you don't keep, starting things you never finish, and wasting your own potential. Over time, even you stop believing in yourself because deep down, you know you can't count on your own word. At the end of the day, discipline is the bridge between intentions and accomplishments. Everyone intends to succeed, but only disciplined people actually do. Discipline separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, the ones who wish from the ones who win. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it's the ingredient that makes success possible. So if you want to know the difference between success and failure, don't look at talent. Don't look at luck. Don't look at resources. Look at discipline. The person willing to keep showing up, keep pushing, and keep sacrificing will always outlast the one who gives up when it's inconvenient. And that's why discipline will forever be the line that separates those who make it from those who don't. Distractions steal your future because every moment you give to something meaningless is a moment taken away from building the life you want. Distractions don't always come dressed as bad things. Sometimes they look fun, entertaining, or harmless. But the truth is, they are silent thieves. They sneak into your day, eat up your hours, and leave you with nothing to show for it. When you add up all the time wasted on distractions, you realize that they've stolen months and even years of your life. Time that could have been invested in your goals, your family, your growth, and your future. One of the biggest lies people believe is that a little distraction won't hurt. They say, I'll just scroll for a few minutes, and suddenly an hour is gone. They say, I'll binge one more episode, and half the night disappears. They say, I'll deal with my goals later, and later turns into never. What we fail to realize is that distractions don't just take minutes, they take momentum. They break your focus, they interrupt your discipline, and they weaken your ability to stay consistent. Success requires focus, and distractions are the enemy of focus. Every time you allow distractions to pull you away from your priorities, you're trading your future for temporary pleasure. Think about that. Every hour wasted is an hour stolen from your dream. Every day wasted is a day you could have used to get closer to your goals. Over time, those stolen hours add up. 5 years later, you look back and wonder why you haven't made progress. It's not because you lack potential. It's because you gave too much of your future away to meaningless things. The worst part is that distractions are easier to fall into than ever before. Technology, social media, endless entertainment, they're all designed to keep your attention. Companies spend billions to capture your focus because if they can control your time, they control your life. And most people hand it over willingly. They wake up in the morning and reach for their phone before they even pray, plan, or move. By the time they realize it, the day has already been stolen by other people's posts, problems, and priorities. But here's the truth. Your attention is your greatest resource. What you focus on grows. If you focus on distractions, your distractions grow. If you focus on your goals grow. If you give your time to nonsense, you'll reap nonsense. If you give your time to building your future, you'll reap success. It's that simple. Distractions also rob you of presence. While you're busy looking at everyone else's life, you miss out on your own. While you're glued to entertainment, you're losing the chance to connect with your loved ones, to sharpen your skills, or to live in the moment. And once those moments are gone, you can't get them back. Distractions don't just steal your future success. They steal the beauty of the present too. The people who succeed are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the most focused. They learn how to block out the noise and give their full energy to the things that matter. They know that saying yes to distractions is saying no to their future. They choose to protect their focus like a treasure because they understand it's the fuel that drives achievement. At the end of the day, distractions are just delays dressed as entertainment. They trick you into feeling like you're enjoying life, but really they're stealing the life you want to create. And one day you'll look back and realize you didn't fail because you weren't capable. You failed because you kept letting distractions rob you of your time, your energy, and your potential. The choice is always yours. You can let distractions steal your future, or you can take control of your focus and guard it fiercely. If you want to succeed, you've got to stop letting temporary pleasures rob you of permanent progress. Because your future is too valuable to hand over to anything that doesn't move you closer to your dreams. Time is a gift from God, and it is the most precious gift you will ever receive. Every single morning when you open your eyes, that's God saying, here's another day, here's another chance, here's another 24 hours for you to live, grow, and make something out of your life. Not everybody gets that gift. Some people went to bed last night and didn't wake up today. Some people had plans, dreams, and goals they never got the chance to fulfill because their time ran out. The fact that you are alive right now means God gave you another opportunity, and what you do with it is up to you. Too often people take time for granted. They live as if they will be here forever, as if they have unlimited days to waste. They spend their hours on things that don't matter, telling themselves they'll get serious tomorrow. But tomorrow is not promised. You are not guaranteed another sunrise. That's why time is such a sacred gift. It's limited, and because it's limited, it should be treasured. Think about how carefully you would treat something rare and valuable. If someone gave you a diamond, you wouldn't throw it around carelessly. If someone gave you a large amount of money, you wouldn't just set it on fire. But that's exactly what people do with their time. They waste it on drama, negativity, excuses, and distractions, forgetting that every minute they spend is a piece of their life they'll never get back. The truth is, wasting time is disrespecting the gift God has given you. God gives everyone the same 24 hours in a day, but he doesn't give everyone the same number of days in their life. That means your time is not only limited, but also unpredictable. You don't know when your last hour will come. And when it does, you won't be able to buy more, borrow more, or beg for more. That's why you can't afford to live casually. You have to live with purpose, urgency, and gratitude, because every day is a blessing you didn't have to receive. Time is also a test. God watches how you use it. Are you using it to grow, to help others, to build your dreams, and to become the best version of yourself? Or are you wasting it on things that take you nowhere? How you spend your time reveals what you truly value. If you say your family is important, but you never give them your time, your actions tell the truth. If you say your goals matter, but you never work on them, your actions prove otherwise. Time is the measure of what you care about most. When you start to see time as a gift from God, you begin to live differently. You stop wasting hours on things that don't add value. You start prioritizing what matters. Your purpose, your relationships, your growth, your service to others. You stop postponing your dreams because you realize the clock is ticking. You begin to live with intention, making every day count, because you know every day is a chance you might not get again. The gift of time is also an opportunity for redemption. Maybe you've wasted years before. Maybe you've made mistakes, procrastinated, or let distractions rule your life. But as long as you're still breathing, God has given you another chance. You can't change the past, but you can change what you do with the time you have left. And that decision to value the time God gives you is the beginning of transformation. At the end of your life, it won't matter how much money you made, how many possessions you own, or how many people knew your name. What will matter is what you did with the time God entrusted to you. Did you waste it, or did you use it to live fully, love deeply, and fulfill your purpose? That's why time is the greatest gift. It's not just hours on a clock. It's your chance to live, to change, to impact, and to leave a legacy. And once you realize that, you'll stop taking it for granted and start treating it like the sacred treasure it is. Because time is God's gift to you, and what you do with it is your gift back to him.